Hey everybody, how are you doing? So in this video, I'd like to just have a chat about the making of this painting behind me, Emergence, and how she unfolded and what I went through as it unfolded and the deeper lessons from it. And so that's kind of be what the whole video is going to be about. To begin, just to kind of let you know, I haven't really been talking about my paintings. Painting for me has always been a process of healing. It was always kind of like a therapy. That's sort of how I did it until I started going deeper into understanding what it is that's coming through as I paint. A lot of my work is around healing and helping people understand their soul evolution. But it wasn't always about that. It was more along the lines of healing and, doing yoga, doing meditation, and just doing some energy work, trying to balance the physical, the mental, and the emotional until I was being shown to go way deeper. And that's sort of what this painting was about. It was in a kind of 3-day process, which I just knew I had to go deeper, didn't really know how. And so for me, I used painting. And so I took a paint canvas, a blank canvas. This is a 30 by 40 inch. And I started just letting the emotions, the energy trying to play itself through, And at the beginning, it was very, it was on the surface, I will say, because what came through was a lot of reds. I don't normally paint with reds. It was a lot of reds, and then this figure showed up, and as I started painting, I kept seeing this face, and I remember saying to myself, I don't paint portraits, and I kind of got freaked out a little bit about it. But whatever it was, I knew this was a process, and I just let it unfold. And I started hearing more guidance showing me what to paint, how to paint it. And I just kind of was my first experience really to let my inner guidance really guide me step by step. And so as I did that, the first day she was completed, and that's why I called her she. I was wondering why I was calling this painting she. I kept wanting to say she. The essence of what came through was of this female figure, and she's wrapped in a blanket sort of. And I remember just going, wow, what is this? And I left it because I didn't know what to do with it. And when I sat with her, I kept feeling like she had her eyes closed. She looked and felt really peaceful, calm, And when I started meditating a little bit deeper with that painting, I started realizing how this was a facade, that many of us kind of do. We do a surface healing. We'll do, energy healing. We'll do this kind of stuff. And sometimes it's just on the surface. We're being asked to go a little bit deeper and into our depth, into our shadow sides. And for those of you who are further along in your spiritual path, you'll understand a little bit more what that looks like. For those who are just starting, there's a part where you're being asked to kind of like dive deeper. Just dive in. You don't know, just dive in. And it's the inward diving. And it's to experience a depth within your heart. And at first it feels really dark. And so my painting started turning dark. I took it back up the second day and I just went over the face. I went over the image into the darkness. And it was very shadowy. It appeared to be like a shadow, like a very darker energy. And the more that I did this, because I was going through this internally, I was allowing myself to just feel into that depth, into that darkness, into the void. And that really was my first experience in really sitting into the void, that space of total unknown, of total where there's nothing. And that to me is the beginning of what now I teach. But I didn't know that back then. All I knew was it was very uncomfortable, it was dark, and I wanted to get the hell out of there. But the more I persisted and kind of allow myself to float into the depth, kind of allow myself to just go, or recognize there was like my heart, like there was a part of me that was calling me in deeper and soothing me to kind of keep going into a deeper place, to feel something deeper. And then there was that part of me, which was my head, my personality self, that was screaming, like, get out, you know, kind of thing. So there was a bit of a battle that was happening. And I recognized at that point, I remember, I think there was almost like a brain that appeared on my, like literally like a brain that appeared on my painting. And I was like, what is this? And then I started understanding that it was a battle between my head and what I, you know, perceived, and what my deeper part of me, my soul, was asking me to descend deeper. And as I painted that through, it started softening, but I started softening into the depth. And through, you know, the next day and the next day, whatever, I took a few days and I meditated over a lot of what was happening, and I was able to really drop into that depth. And when I got past that fear of the darkness, the fear of the unknown, at that level of my evolution, of that level of where my healing was happening, there was this beautiful light that started to ignite within me. And that was my soul, the essence of my soul. It's almost like for the first time I tapped into that essence, and that opened a whole other experience for me, and unfolding of what my work is now and what my life is undergoing. And I understood at that moment that things were about to change quite significant, and they did, for very good. And so the real bigger lessons for me that unfolded from that was that for true healing to occur, you have to go at the karmic level, at the soul level, because with all the modalities that I'd done, with all the trainings that I'd done a lot of healing on the physical, mental, and emotional part of ourselves. But I knew of the energetic, but I didn't really tap into the karmic cycles. And when I began to see that everything that was showing me, like life will always show you what's going on with you inside, I started seeing these cycles, these karmic cycles that were showing up. And then that's where became the deeper healing process of working with soul energies, and then understanding more and allowing the wisdom of my soul to come through. You see, I think that for so long, and I know some of us here who've done a lot of healing work, understand soul healing. But for those who are new to this and may not quite understand past lives, or really understand karmic cycles, it's not about understanding or remembering what had happened, because that's not what we're here to do. The memory can only retain this lifetime, and that's about enough. But the cellular structure, your energetic structure, remembers lives that you've lived. And for some of us that are really old souls, we've reincarnated to complete cycles. And those lives that we've lived have accumulated into our energetic pattern and makes, you know, our karmic, our etheric field patterns. And those is what's projected outwards and then always comes back. So the more that we can work at that level and understand that the things that keep boomeranging back to us are simply something that has not been resolved or healed at the soul level. The reason you want to be able to tap into that as well, I feel, for me now, is what I'm understanding more and more and more, is that every new healing that I choose to go to, every depth that I choose to go to, reveals to me a deeper wisdom. Because wisdom does not come from your daily experiences that you just do in this life. You know, daily is not how many wisdom is not how many books you've read. Your wisdom comes from all of your karmic experiences as you are beginning to remember certain parts of it. It's like knowledge that you just have. It's kind of like certain skills. How do I know how to paint what I paint? I didn't go to school. This is not a skill set that I trained in for. I just begin to remember, or starting to tap into, I don't know, what truly makes the art of creation to me. I paint for seeing how I can create again, and that is part of what I'm here to excavate and teach and do. However, we all have a set of skills, gifts that have been passed down through multiple lives. And as you start doing some deeper healing work, as you resolve a lot of those patterns, you start moving into a different path, your path of purpose. Your path of purpose begins to open up for you. And that path of purpose, you start doing work that is related to why you've come here, why you've incarnated. And why you've incarnated is not specifically the job that you're doing. Why you've incarnated is to be the barrier of light, to remember what it means to bring down the light of the Creator, the wisdom, the love, and to hold that within you and to impact the world at large through this light. But that's the journey. That is the healing process that we're here to do on a soul level, to evolve into the Christ being that we are, the light that we are. And so, without going to all of those teachings in this video, that was the beginning of all of this. This was the rising. That's why I call it the emergence, the light that emerged from within us when we allow ourselves to go deeper, when we allow ourselves to tap into a deeper place within our heart chambers, our heart, our etheric heart, our energy heart, then past all the wounds, past all the hurt and all of that protected us, you start seeing the flicker of light. And that's the light of the Creator. That's the light, the eternal flame that is within us, that we, as we tune into that light, we begin to grow that light. And so that's what's in this painting. It's basically the beginning stages of that. It's just that descent down into the depth. And as you descend down into the depth, you rise to the surface with your light. And it is your light that transforms. It is your light that transmutes. So that's what's in this baby. I just thought I'd share it. I find that I love understanding other artists and what they go through as they paint and their process. And mine's quite connected to what I do on a soul level with other people. And so I thought I'd start sharing a little bit more about my painting. So this is Emergence.